Also sprach Zarathustra, Op. 30 is a tone poem by Richard Strauss, composed in 1896 and inspired by Friedrich Nietzsche's philosophical novel of the same name. The composer conducted its first performance on the 27th of November 1896 in Frankfurt. A typical performance lasts half an hour. The work has been part of the classical repertoire since its first performance in 1896. The initial fanfare, titled Sunrise in the composer's program notes, became particularly well known after its use in Stanley Kubrick's 1968 film 2001: A Space Odyssey. Instrumentation. The work is orchestrated for piccolo, 3 flutes, 3 oboes, English horn, clarinet in E-flat, 2 clarinets in B-flat, bass clarinet in B-flat, 3 bassoons, contrabassoon, 6 horns in F and E, 4 trumpets in C and E, 3 trombones, 2 tubas, timpani, bass drum, cymbals, triangle, glockenspiel, bellon low, organ and strings, 2 harps, violins I, 2 violas, cellos, double basses. Structure. The piece is divided into 9 sections played with only 3 definite pauses. Strauss named the sections after selected chapters of the book Einleitung oder Sonnenaufgang, von den Hinterwäldlern, von der großen Sehnsucht, von den Freuden und Leidenschaften, das Grableid, von der Wissenschaft, der Jeansend, das Tanzleid, Nachtwandlerleid. The piece starts with a sustained double low C on the double basses, contrabassoon and organ. This transforms into the brass fanfare of the introduction and introduces the dawn motif that is common throughout the work. The motif includes 3 notes in intervals of a fifth an octave as CGC. On its first appearance, the motif is a part of the first 5 notes of the natural overtone series: octave, octave and fifth, 2 octaves and major third. The major third is immediately changed to a minor third, which is the first note played in the work that is not part of the overtone series. Of those in backwaters begins with cellos, double basses and organ pedal before changing into a lyrical passage for the entire section. The next 2 sections, of the Great Yearning and of Joys and Passions, both introduce motifs that are more chromatic in nature. If Science features an unusual fugue beginning in the double basses and cellos, which consists of all 12 notes of the chromatic scale. It is one of the very few sections in the orchestral literature where the basses must play a contrabeat. The convalescent acts as a reprise of the original motif, and ends with the entire orchestra climaxing on a massive chord. The dance song features a very prominent violin solo throughout the section. The end of the Song of the Night Wanderer leaves the piece half resolved, with high flutes, piccolos and violins playing a B major chord, while the lower strings pluck a C. One of the major compositional themes of the piece is the contrast between the keys of B major, representing humanity, and C major, representing the universe. Because B and C are adjacent notes, these keys are tonally dissimilar. B major uses 5 sharps, while C major has none. World riddle theme. There are 2 opinions about the world riddle theme. Some sources denote the 5th octave intervals as the world riddle motif. However, other sources refer to the 2 conflicting keys in the final section as representing the world riddle, with the unresolved harmonic progression being an unfinished or unsolved riddle. The melody does not conclude with a well-defined tonic note as being either C or B, hence it is unfinished. The ending of the composition has been described, but the riddle is not solved. The tone poem ends enigmatically in 2 keys. The nature motif plucks softly by the basses in its original key of C, and above the woodwinds, in the key of B major. The unsolvable end of the universe for Strauss was not pacified by Nietzsche's solution. Neither C major nor B major is established as the tonic at the end of the composition. Recordings. The first recording was made in 1935 with Serge Koussevitzky and the Boston Symphony Orchestra. In 1944, Strauss conducted the Vienna Philharmonic in an experimental high-fidelity recording of the piece, made on a German magnetophone tape recorder. This was later released on LP by Vanguard Records and on CD by various labels. Strauss's friend and colleague, Fritz Reiner, made the first stereophonic recording of the music with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra in March 1954 for RCA Victor. In 2012, the Fritz Reiner recording was added to the Library of Congress's National Recording Registry 2011 list of culturally, historically, or aesthetically important American sound recordings. The recording of the opening fanfare used for the film 2001: A Space Odyssey was performed by Vienna Philharmonic and conducted by Herbert von Karajan. Elvis Presley used the opening fanfare as the opening piece in his concerts between 1971 and his death in 1977, and as the introduction to several of his live albums, including Elvis, as recorded at Madison Square Garden, Aloha from Hawaii via satellite, and Elvis in concert. Umir Deodato's funk-influenced arrangement of the opening fanfare Sunrise theme reached number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100 U.S. popular music sales charts in 1973, and number 7 on the UK singles chart. His version was titled also Sprach Zarathustra, and won the 1974 Grammy Award for Best Pop Instrumental Performance.